Hey, Mehul, tell me what's the agenda for the meeting, why you brought us all here?
Hello everyone, you know what? We are so fortunate enough to have all respective heads of various regulatories in our town, so I thought of converting this into a nice informal chat on issues we have been facing, in terms of reporting burdens. Let me introduce everyone first. I am Mr. Mehul, coordinator for the meeting. Meet Mr. Corporate Representative, FICCI. Mrs. Income Tax, Chairman, CBDT. Mr. MCA, Minister, MCA. Mrs. RBI, Governor, RBI. And our special guest, Mr. XBRL. Mr. Corporate will brief us about the issues involved in reporting to various agencies and the mess behind it. Mrs. Income Tax will touch upon the reluctance of assessee to submit returns electronically. Mrs. RBI will share her views on methodology of return submissions at RBI. Mr. MCA will address us the reason behind obtaining PDF format as a mode of submission. Again, we also have Mr. XBRL, a certified expert from XBRL International Incorporated, who will enlighten us more about XBRL, the future language of finance and accounting. I recently had a chance to meet Mr. XBRL. He is experienced in helping governments reduce reporting burdens, so I invited him to explain the challenges and propose some opportunities to address it. Thank you, Mehul. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the topic of reporting burdens in a systematic way. I'll also present some opportunities to remove those burdens. As we all know, different government institutions and public organizations require companies to submit various types of data, usually in large quantities. Some examples are shown in the diagram. Companies perceive this data submission process as a compliance burden. So let us have a healthy discussion on this issue. No doubt, our analysis could lead to changes to the law, but not necessarily. At present, rather at this juncture, I would like to suggest that we focus on other ways of reducing reporting burdens. The government needs to collect data from businesses to perform its statutory obligations. However, while law sets the scope of the data, agencies have some freedom as far as the format of the data they collect. What do you say, Mr. Corporate?
Yes, Mr. XBRL, at this point, it will be more feasible decision for all of us to change the medium of report submission rather than getting into the intricacies of changing the law per se.
Rightly said, Mr. XBRL. What you suggested is quite a rational option. Another issue in my opinion is that, often various agencies or bodies request the corporate to furnish the same information twice or even thrice to different organizations. There is duplication and redundancy of record. For example, information about companies' revenue can be requested for tax, company law, statistical, juridical, supervisory, and social security purposes. Isn't it, Mr. Corporate?
Oh yes, Mr. Mehul. Sometimes we get stuck in the vicious circle of legal compliances that we really don't understand what we are supposed to do. Company audits, tax audits, monthly excise returns, monthly VAT returns, quarterly TDS returns, service tax returns. If we are to comply with everything in different formats, when are we supposed to do business?
Let us elaborate these issues further. Companies generally submit their annual reports to several institutions, as you can see on the slide. Mr. Corporate, is that true for you?
As you all might be aware, all companies must submit report at least once to tax authorities to determine and confirm income and taxes in ITR 6. The same is sent to the registrar in Form 23IC and 23ICI, which further make it available to public. Also, the SEBI or various rating agencies asks for some data in order to analyze the condition of the economy. This is later aggregated and published in the form of reports.
Yes, if a company belongs to a specific sector of public interest, our supervision wing department requests the company's financial statement. In addition to that, it sends to other agencies for further investigation.
Right, in a same fashion, the same data is also requested by other entities from the private sector, like lenders, creditors, contractors, and of course, investors. I can tell you that from the company's perspective, it's a huge mess.
Okay, all which has been discussed so far shows how complex the situation can be for organizations. We should try to analyze this anomaly in more detail. Mrs. Income Tax, what formats do you use at the tax office for annual filings?
In our case, we generally collect financial statements and income tax return in paper format. They are submitted at any of our income tax department. The main reason for requesting paper is that it is the easiest to obtain. Though in recent years, we have introduced the system of e-filing, but it is mainly prevalent in only metro cities and is in naive stage, and still many professionals prefer the paper return format. The clerks generally at income tax department rarely match the financial statement with tax returns, and they accept the report as they are submitted. In addition, it becomes difficult for analysis as all chartered accountants use different software and of different layout for their presentation of financial statements. Audit report.
Thanks, Mrs. Income Tax. It seems that the main challenges that you face are cross-checking and comparing data sent in different formats and compiling a number of reports in a single layout for publication. Mrs. RBI, what formats do you use at the central bank?
We use forms. These are normally Microsoft Excel spreadsheets that can be downloaded from our website. They are locked to protect their content. This data has to be of high quality because it immediately becomes available for analysis and decision-making. To make sure that's the case, the spreadsheets contain a number of validation rules that allow filers to check their content for correctness before submission. However, there are limitations with Excel format. A lot of people call that spreadsheet spaghetti, and it happens pretty often when businesses use spreadsheets to organize their information.
Now let us ask Mr. MCA about in what format do they collect information from the corporates. When it comes to formats for filing financial statements, we require a PDF attachment. This is because of the nature of the accounting standards, which are principle-based, and as you may know, the principle-based standards do not usually define any rigorous template of the financial statement, and so companies have a good deal of flexibility in structuring their reports. Therefore, we need the PDF format in which corporates scan and attach their audit reports and hence can accommodate the diversity of structures proposed by reporting entities. However, we do face the problem of data storage. Each scanned audit report in PDF format attached by corporates weighs around 2.5 megabytes, and if say around 50 likes corporates uploads their docs in this format, our data centers are flooded with unlimited terabytes of data, which entails huge cost for server maintenance and storage, and also downgrades the website at deadline dates. Also, there's no scope for comparison between two companies or between the same company for 2 financial years. Okay, so let us see what we have identified so far. Ellipsis. We have 6 different formats used for collecting information on financial statements: paper, word processor, spreadsheets, online forms, CSV, and PDF. With spreadsheets, CSV, or online forms, automatic extraction is possible. However, these formats aren't flexible, so they don't apply in scenarios where the content of the report cannot be predefined. Paper, word processor, and PDF allow for flexibility in terms of the scope and presentation of the data. However, they don't support automatic extraction of data for further usage. Alright, we have established that there are challenges with the current processes and formats used in electronic reporting. Now, there's a solution to these challenges, which is the introduction of XBRL, which is an appropriate electronic reporting process and format, and we shall learn the same. Over to you, Mr. XBRL. Let's understand the meaning of tagging through a simple example of tagging a visiting card. As you can see on the screen, left panel displays plain unstructured text, whereas the right panel displays tagged data. Each and every item of a visiting card has been tagged. For instance, Mehul Arsha has been given a tag, name. Hence, Mehul Arsha has been placed between name and /name. Similarly, if you observe address is the parent tag, and we have child elements like flat number, area, city, etc. Now the advantage is that we can query the software to list out all the CA staying in city Surrouter to check how many audit reports contains the membership number of Mehul and whether they are within the limit of 45. Now you may wonder which class of companies fall under the purview of XBRL filing in India. As per MCA mandate, all companies listed with any stock exchange in India and their Indian subsidiaries, or all companies having paid up capital of rupees 5 crore and above, or having turnover of rupees 100 crore and above, are required to file their annual returns in XBRL format. If you or any of the client is falling under the above mandate, we would feel an immense pleasure in introducing us, RSA Consultants, as premier XBRL conversion service provider. Our XBRL expert and technical head is one among the 4 Indian candidates, certified by XBRL International Incorporated. To request a quote for XBRL conversion services, drop us a mail at info@taxorigin.com or call us at 97234595572. We also provide XBRL training as well as XBRL software services.